of Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 5.
Or Episode 51, if you're counting.
We raced home for you.
Yes.
That's why we're about 2 minutes late. It's fine.
It happens. We're alive. We're all good. Here, now. We're fine. How are you?
You missed the thank you.
Thank you.
You always get so close to getting the quote right, but never quite.
When I'm under pressure, it's hard to remember every last little line. It's hard.
You're not under pressure. You do this every week. You're fine. You're fine.
I am fine? Yes, I am.
Tell me about how fine you are right now.
I am so fine that I am not unfine.
I was hoping you'd tell me about how stuff was going this week.
Oh,
right.
Stuff is going pretty well. As it turns out, I think some of you might know about this, but I was gonna go ahead and put it out. Tomorrow morning, I believe, or tomorrow afternoon, there's going to be a live stream in honor of our dear friend Justin Juwario, and unfortunately, Kaylin, you're not going to be able to make it, but I will go ahead and attend tomorrow, so I'll probably be tweeting a bit about that tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that.
I'm sure he'll post links to the live stream.
Yeah. So it's just really, tomorrow's Justin's birthday, and it's really important, you know, that one of us be there, and, you know, all it is just people going to be sharing, not so much secrets, but the good times, you know, good memories, and things of that nature, and it's fitting. Speaking of which, thankfully enough, you just loaded a video with him this week.
Yeah, and it was a video that, if you haven't caught it yet, it was a fan fiction called Danger Date, and it was something that Justin specifically requested back in 2012 during our filming of To Boldly Flee for that guy with the glasses, and he was asking Twitter, hey, does anybody have fan fiction of Mars Girl and me? We're gonna film it. And so, in came this really silly thing by Peter Chimera, and if you look Peter Chimera up, you'll see a whole bunch of other ridiculous fanfic that he's done, some of which made their rounds on 4chan a couple of years back. And so we reenacted that, and I thought, for a long time, I thought I'd accidentally deleted it somehow.
The footage, you mean?
Yeah, the footage of it was, I thought it was gone. I was heartbroken, and I'd always wished I'd gotten it out there, and I was thrilled to find it last month and find that somehow, like, there's no reason that the footage should exist. There's absolutely no reason it should exist at all, and yet it does, and I was thrilled to find it, and yet also, at the same time, a little bit heartbroken because, you know, Justin couldn't see that it actually came to fruition, and, but I am really glad that you guys do get to see it, because it was something he thought, it was an idea he just thought was so funny. I don't know, he used to just sit and love reading fan fiction about him and other people out loud in the most uncomfortable manner. He just thought it was so funny, so I'm just glad that it exists.
Well,
so
we had made similar comments, I guess, kind of relating the two together about, you know, Ghostbusters. Once somebody is gone and you find a piece of their work, what do you do with it? And I think in this case, you know, and the same goes for, I think, Nash's crossover video that he did with him for Doctor Strange that he just put up. You don't want to lose the intent of what was being filmed at the time. If it was meant to be comical, then let that show through. Yes, we're all, you know, wishing that, you know, he was still around, but he would still want people to laugh.
Right.
And admittedly, this thing's funny because it's ridiculous.
It's completely ridiculous and short, very brief, which I think it's better that way, that it is as brief as it is. I feel like I was going to say something else about it in regards to it.
Well, you said you were going to go ahead and put up another version of it with commentary later.
Yeah, I'm going to do an audio commentary of it, and I know I had something else I was going to say about it, so I'm sure I'll think of it then. I'll probably take notes on it before I actually do that commentary, so I'm not rambling like this. But it's out there now. If you've been following my Twitter, you've seen it. If you've been to thatguywiththeglasses.com recently, you've seen it. Or if you just go to marsgirlproductions.com. And again, that link, if you scroll down here on Twitch, there's a link to my website there. So, that's what's been going on with
all
me.
things considered, all things considered equal, I think this makes for a good birthday present for him.
Yeah, I would say so. Coming out the week of his birthday, it really was unintentional that it came out at around that time, but maybe it was for the best, meant to be that way, really.
That's how I choose to think of it. But all those things aside, we'll go ahead and tell you guys about tonight's stories.
Right, so first of all, we wanted to talk a little bit about the legend of that old ET landfill, you know, the terrible Atari game that, you know, supposedly flopped so hard that they had so many copies made that they didn't know what to do with it, so supposedly they've put them in a landfill. Well, somebody's gonna try and dig them up, if they even exist. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Also, we have our first pictures of the live-action cast of the new Lupin the Third movie. Very much looking forward to that. And then, of course, the big story that everybody by this point has already sunk their teeth into, and now it's our turn. Smash Brothers.
Yay! 3DS and Wii U versions.
Let's go!
Yeah, new characters, changes to how gameplay functions, a lot of things to look forward to. So that having been said, what else were we going to follow up with before continuing while I eat my Crunch Bar?
Okay, this follow-up segment not brought to you by Nestle's Crunch. Normally, sometimes when we go to see movies, we do a vlog if we really had some hardcore thoughts about it. Other times, you know, you only have so much to say because the movie spoke for itself. In that case, like most people here, this past weekend we got to go see Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and I guess we'd go ahead and we've covered it a bit here on the show, and we'd go ahead and tonight give you guys our thoughts on it. I think it's fair enough to say that this was probably the best of the Phase 2 movies thus far before Age of Ultron shows up.
I'd say so. And I want to mention before we get too far, we're not going to give away any spoilers because that would just be mean.
Yeah, it's understandable. Some people haven't had a chance to go see the movie yet. Some people have seen it multiple times already. But
I want to name one of my only gripes with it, and I want to preface that by saying, understand what I mean when I say it's pretty much my only gripe with it, meaning, like, this is nothing in comparison to how good the movie actually is. There's some great action sequences.
Beautiful choreography.
Incredible action sequences. My only problem is that, yeah, there's the shaky cam problem that has plagued Hollywood for a few years now, right?
Really since Batman Begins was the biggest time we saw it.
Especially since Batman Begins. But then, follow that up with the fact that very clearly the footage appears to be ever so slightly sped up.
You can kind of see it in one of the main throwdowns between the Winter Soldier and Cap. If you look back on the commercials that they would show on TV, specifically with Winter Soldier's passing of the knife from one hand to the other and going after Steve, you can clearly see that footage is a lot faster to make him seem more aggressive in the fight. And
I don't know if it's because of that or not. However, you can tell that there's choppiness in frame rate because of that, which made it additionally difficult to see, as well as the fact that it kind of looked like those action scenes were filmed on a completely different camera than the rest of the movie. Like it was filmed on somebody's home DSLR. The DSLRs are fantastic cameras, and Hollywood's been using them more and more frequently. But it just seemed so different and so jarring in comparison to the rest of the movie. But realize when I say all of that, through all of that, I could still see a fantastic action sequence. Nick Fury gets some good action. I was wow, Nick Fury got to do something like that. Was really cool to me.
Yes.
Other than that,
you weren't annoyed with Black Widow.
Yeah, because it was like, I was really concerned that they were gonna make it like a romance between her and Captain America, which they didn't. I think that's as far as I'll take that.
As far as other characters go, Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson absolutely nailed it. He embodies everything that the Falcon should be, and because of that, it makes me kind of, angry that he's not going to be in Age of Ultron, because he added so much, for lack of a better term, honesty to the movie, which really says something, because the bulk of the movie is how everyone's so dishonest. You know, you can't really trust anybody. And there's plenty of Easter eggs in there, plenty of threads that tie back to the other Marvel movies, even stuff that was last phase, going back to Iron Man 2. You guys who've seen the movie know what I'm talking about. And it more or less, if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to stay. There's 2 scenes after the credits, one at the very end and one right in the middle. The one in the middle sets up Age of Ultron, of course, and then the one at the end is kind of a add-on to this character of the Winter Soldier. Now, admittedly, it's a little weird to me that... Well, I guess it's not so weird. People haven't really read as much comics as the next person or seen as many cartoons, so a lot of people don't know who the Winter Soldier is. For a lot of people to like, well, no, duh, I know who Winter Soldier is. And then even for somebody who doesn't read comics like you were able to figure it out fairly quickly.
Well, I told you Captain America was the most comics I'd ever read.
That's right.
I already knew it was Ernest who didn't know who the Winter Soldier was, and he said, oh, well, I kind of saw it coming who it was.
Yeah.
So it's not going to completely come out of left field if you don't know who he is, but once it is fully revealed, I think it'll be pretty satisfying.
Yes. Admittedly, he's not... For a movie that has his name in the title, he's not there for a bulk of the movie, but when he's there, he's there. And you realize his presence. It very much sets up Age of Ultron, like I said, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Really, if I had the money, I'd go see it again right now, but...
I would agree, actually.
It was pretty good. That's, to be said, that set the bar for this year in movies. Next up is... Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then after that, Godzilla. So that's a pretty high bar that these other movies... For the
rest of summer, yeah.
I'm not saying that they won't jump over, but, you know, Cap pretty much... That super soldier has done super things with that movie. And I very much look forward to Captain America 3 once they get to that.
Alright, well, that having been said, we should get along to our legitimate news stories. So, like, this is the strangest thing. Like, this is a news story I didn't ever expect to actually pop up.
Yeah.
Let me actually go ahead and bring up the graphic, because I neglected to do that. So, for some reason, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, of course, back like 3 decades ago, when the ET movie came out, Atari very badly wanted to get a hold of the video game rights to ET. But it was like, well, the movie's about to come out, oh my god, what are we gonna do? It was like one of the most rushed games in video game history.
Let's put it in perspective here. E.T. the Extraterrestrial was, by all accounts, a hit. You know, families went to go see it. People kept seeing it over and over again. So many memorable lines, memorable characters. So you would think on top of that, of course you would want to make as much buck as you can. So they put this out. By Atari.
And again, it was super rushed. Super rushed. Very apparent that it was super rushed, too. And granted, like, you look back on it now, and if you don't know any better, it just looks like any other Atari game. But, like, especially in comparison to other Atari games, it was like, wow, what does this have to do with E.T. at all?
Right.
Aside from... Okay, occasionally, I guess he's picking up a Reese's Pieces. You fall in a bunch of pits.
You mean a dot for Atari graphics?
Yeah,
somebody has to tell you it's a Reese's Piece.
You fall in a bunch of pits, and then you have to figure out, oh, you gotta, like, do this thing to extend your neck and then, like, hover back out. You spend most of your time running around, falling into holes, then getting caught and put in some kind of jail cell, and then you gotta escape. Like, it's just...
It's very repetitive.
You can't really tell clearly what the point of the game is. You really can't.
Like, it's a lesson in bad video game mechanics. If you can't figure out what your goal is, then you've messed up.
So the biggest problem they had was, oh, E.T.'s gonna be amazing and it's gonna bank so hard. We should make as many copies of this game as humanly possible.
Do you really think that's wise? I mean...
Do it! Cartridges!
And then they assembly line out all of these cartridges of this game that really shouldn't have been made. And as such, this game was cited for Atari's massive financial losses that year because nobody bought it. And for good reason.
How many... You're looking at the wiki right now.
Yes.
How many copies did it say that they were not able to sell?
There's not a specific number, but they say it's in the millions.
Millions of copies were not able to get sold, okay? So the rumor, alright, is that these millions of copies, what the hell were they gonna do with them?
Well,
all you can do with
I don't
them,
know.
all you can do with them is throw them into a landfill.
Junk it.
Just junk them.
Gotta junk it.
So that's the rumors, that they got thrown into a landfill somewhere, and that's where they sit to this day. So this is the part that comes in that I'm like, I can't even believe that somebody's like going to this trouble. Because it turned out that Atari apparently did like purchase landfill territory somewhere in New Mexico.
Right.
And so now somebody owns that landfill. Some new owners own that landfill, and Fuel Entertainment got the rights to go digging in that landfill to see whether or not
these cartridges
do in fact exist within this landfill. My question is, if they are there, that's if. Okay? What are you going to do with them once you get them?
Well, I'll tell you what they're going to do with them. You see, people are doing wonderful things with taking recyclable materials and making housing out of them. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take E.T.'s old cartridges, put a little bit of, stucco on there, and we're going to build houses. That way something good came out of this game. No, I have no idea what they're going to do with these.
Wow, you were really sold on that idea of E.T. houses.
Well, yeah. Instead of E.T. phone home, E.T. build home.
Oh my god.
What? Come on.
Oh my god.
What? You thought we were going to get through this whole segment without one E.T. quote joke? Really?
I don't know. I think ouch is a better...
Ouch.
Like, millions of copies thrown into a landfill.
Ouch. To your wallet, Atari.
Oh, so painful. Like, okay, what if it's not millions of copies of E.T.?
Well, see, I'm trying to figure it out, because, like, in a weird way, this is, like, the nerd equivalent for looking for Jimmy Hoffa's grave. Like, there's no way you're gonna find it, and even if you do, what are you gonna do with it? Like, all it would do is confirm, yep, they tossed him. Alright, let's go on with our lives. Like, what
even
more?
When you find copies of E.T. now, it's not like they go for very expensive, because it's not a good
you have
game.
to pay somebody to play that game. It is so bad.
Like Conan O'Brien. I think I know what I did with my water. I was right. It was just behind the
monitor. Good job.
Anyway.
See, you found something.
Yeah, but it wasn't in a landfill in New Mexico and placed there by Atari.
Well, that made it
Unless my
easier.
name is Atari and I don't know it.
Is your name Atari?
My name's Atari?
Oh, man. That's gonna look weird, having to go down to the courthouse and then get that on there. Like, I have to take the name Atari? That's weird.
Who said you were taking... You know what? Back to the point.
Back to the point.
No, recently, and I say recently, this was months and months and months ago, because Conan O'Brien does that Clueless Gamer segment from time to time, and they had him play a whole bunch of Atari games. Now, it was bad enough that he really didn't understand the treasure that gaming once was, and I don't think he really appreciated... Well, he appreciated its growth, that's for sure. He was like, wow, we're way better now than we were then. Gaming blew ass back then. And I was like, oh my god, calm down, man.
Yeah, he would say that because that is the best example of gaming having done so in the past. Mm-hmm. He has no choice but to sit there and try to play this thing. And mind you, he says every time he is not a gamer. He makes no qualms about making the audience aware of that. And then he's having to basically suffer through this thing like so many other people did. And it's funny.
Yes, I would agree, it's funny. And one of those games that, the most highly requested game that he played for that particular episode was, in fact, E.T. And Conan's like, why? Why do they want me to play this? And his buddy Aaron Blair is like, well, they want you to play it because it is critically the worst game ever made. He gives him all these stats, and he's like, why does my fan base want me to play this? And he
because
plays it,
they wanted him to suffer just like the rest.
And he did. He was really miserable.
It was entertaining. Because that's TV. You know, we watch for other people's misery, and we get enjoyment out of it.
Well, isn't that one of the definitions of comedy? I
think so, yeah.
Pain is funny when it's not happening to you?
Pretty much. And you think about it, like, this excavation, like, how much manpower is really going into this? Is it one dude with a shovel, or are we going, like, full-on, like, Avatar, we've landed on the planet, we've got the dozers out, and the gas masks, and we're ready to find this thing?
Yeah, but there's no, natives who are gonna argue, oh no, please don't take our copies of E.T. the Extraterrestrial. We need those copies.
How do we not know that? There might be a whole civilization that was found in that landfill, and they've been using the ET cartridges and an old Atari that they found there in the landfill and got it to work and somehow got a power source and have been playing it, and they see it in a whole different light than we do. And then we have to learn from them how to truly appreciate E.T. the Extraterrestrial on the Atari, and then there's this big old fight at the end, and then people are, protecting the cartridges, and then we're like, get out of the way.
And then there's a guy in a power suit.
And then Aerosmith sings the theme at the end.
We're not talking about E.T. anymore, are we?
Ouch.
Okay. I think we've said about all we can say about it,
yeah,
to be honest with you.
Apparently they're going to stream this somewhere, as far as I know. On April 26th is when this is supposed to happen. So when it does, we'll probably give an update on that. That way you guys can find out for yourselves just exactly what was there.
That's ridiculous. All right, let's talk about something else. What are we talking about? Lupin!
Lupin the Third!
Keep talking. No, keep talking.
Oh, okay. So, Lupin the Third, ace thief, man of style, man of action. This man deserves a better movie than the one he got before. And now, we have it. As you'll see here on the screen, we've got our first shot of Shun Oguri in the title role of Lupin in this new Lupin the Third live-action movie. I got it.
Oh, I thought I was still going.
Okay.
No.
All right. So, yes, this has been filming for a while, and this is the first shot we have of the cast here. It's important to mention that they're updating the setting here to be more modern than, the typical 70s you would imagine Lupin inhabiting.
Honestly, though, it's not like that's the first time that's happened, because Lupin has always looked like Lupin no matter what. And he hasn't always been centered around the 1970s.
Right.
He's almost always been in the modern age, whenever that modern age happened to be. But he doesn't really have clothes that require being updated all that much, if you ask me.
Not really, no.
The only one who ever changes looks is Fujiko, and that's because, that's her character shtick.
Right.
She is a master of disguise anyway, so that just plain makes sense. I mean, she keeps a general look about her.
Yes.
But
and I'll go ahead and post a link here to the chat. That way you guys can take a look at the cast here. And of course, they're all there. Really, they don't look all that different than they normally would. Fujiko looks pretty hot, as she should. Zenigata looks like Zenigata. Goemon, I'm surprised they kept him as much as they did. I was the most worried about Goemon, that they were going to update him as, oh, he's just some, Yakuza guy carrying around a sword. No, he looks...
Nope, he still looks like some guy who's holding on to, the faraway Japanese past.
Yeah, straight out of the Edo period.
Right.
And Goemon looks like Goemon. I mean, I can see his eyes, but that's... I won't fault him for that.
How are you gonna fight that? So...
we have a plot synopsis here. Apparently, Lupin is going after a treasure called the Crimson Heart of Cleopatra. A jewel that, if he gets a hold of it, the rumor is it can unite the world. It sounds like one of those typical...
How would it do that?
I don't know. That's why we gotta watch the movie.
What? I gotta watch the movie to find out. What kind of crap is that? Continue.
So anyway, this movie, we still don't have a trailer yet. We'll be sure to let you guys know when that occurs. But I have high hopes for this. It's directed by Ryuhei Kitamura, who directed Godzilla Final Wars, written by Yamamoto Mataichiro, who wrote Crow Zero, nice movie and drama series there. So it's in capable hands. Really what I'm hoping for is that it's on the same level, and I keep coming back to this, as Rurouni Kenshin. And I think it's better that it stays in-house, by which I mean it stays in Japan as an adaptation, rather than us getting a hold of it and then warping it the way we want to.
You mean Rupon?
No, I don't want Rupon. I want Lupin.
My question is, how did we get Rupon to begin with, when it's not like we don't know that an actual historical thief named Lupin existed, and that was the name they're clearly, throwing back to in the title and the character name, Lupin the Third.
Right.
How did we end up calling him Rupon? How did we do that?
I'm not sure myself. Now, there isn't word as to whether or not we're getting wide distribution on this. I would hope that we do at the least the same level of Kenshin, where it's coming to, film festivals and things like that over here. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll show up at an art house near you guys.
I'm just saying, I think that we got just about everything Lupin related over time, even if the adaptations were but usually we didn't do a completely crappy job. Heck, Castle of Cagliostro, I thought we got a really good adaptation of that movie.
You mean dub-wise?
Yeah, even the dub was really good, in personal opinion. Of course, I'm one of the few people on Earth who actually enjoys our localized dubs. Not all the time, of course. Can't say much for 4Kids stuff, or Foxbox stuff, but...
Well, I like it as much as Lupin. Really, this movie is a testament to the staying power of this character. I mean, for someone who's based in the 70s, I remember, 10 years ago or so when they started showing him on Adult Swim.
Was it only that long ago? Heck, I could have sworn it was even longer than that.
At least 10 years ago, maybe 12 at this point. But, I would watch Lupin, late at night, and I'd be like, you know what? This is pretty cool. Even, I wasn't hung up like some people get on, oh, well, that animation style is so old or it's so gritty. No, it was still funny. It was still engaging. And, most recent anime that was, I think Funimation got a hold of it, the Fujiko anime.
Oh, did they get the license?
I'm fairly positive they're the ones that got it. So yeah, Lupin is here and he's sticking around.
One gripe that's kind of coming up is maybe the idea that Lupin and perhaps the others don't necessarily look goofy enough, but of course I think this is just a particularly serious set of photos. But I think you can kind of see in the fairly colorful backgrounds that maybe this has the potential to be more goofy than these single shots would necessarily lead you to believe.
Right. If you look at it, Lupin's got that smirk on his face. As he should, because he's a joker. He likes to have the edge on a situation, but at the same time he's looking for either ways out or ways in to some girl's pants. That's the character in a nutshell. Everybody else does kind of have a serious edge to them. Fujiko looks like a seductress. Goemon looks like he's ready to throw down with a sword. Zenigata looks like he's ready to arrest Lupin. It's as it should be. I think once we get a trailer, it'll be easy to cast off all the doubt that we might have right now. Really, I'm looking forward to it. I like the fact that in recent years...
What studio's putting it out? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Studio-wise...
It struck me as being important.
I'm trying to find that.
You know what?
I don't know.
You know what? I'll look for it. You keep talking.
But no, like I was saying, I like the fact that in recent years, Japan is less scared of having these adaptations of these long-running series, and really the adaptations are staying fairly true to their source material. Really the only gripes I've seen in recent years were Gatchaman, where they changed the suits almost completely, and Yatterman for kind of the direction they took it. in certain scenes towards the end of the movie, and you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Very, very risque stuff, even by most standards.
Really, less. Well, yeah, it's risque, but even to the point of, oh, this is such gritty sexual humor. Like everyone will laugh at this because it's so. But like it was just really unnecessary. Really,
Right.
like where did this even come from? Just. I really hope they don't go in that direction. But then again, it's not like sexual humor didn't crop up in Lupin, so...
Well, no, that's a big part of it. I'm a little sad that there's a good likelihood that we won't get the iconic, Lupin jumping at Fujiko and then the boxing glove coming from the general area of her crotch.
Uh-huh.
That visual. I doubt that it'll make it into the movie, but that's just kind of something people relate to Lupin.
Oricon was where the news article originally came from, but I don't know that they actually produce, or if this is just...
no, that's just a news article.
Yeah, I just thought that was a news site, so I have no idea. I have no idea what studio's even making this movie.
Well, somebody's making it, obviously.
Clearly, and they say it's going to be
right
ready by December, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, December 26th. Oh, they finished principal photography, I guess, this past December 26th.
Yes. And a good thing to note is we talk about choreography sometimes. Like we were saying in Captain America, it's nice to see Chris Evans doing his own stunts. Here in this movie, apparently everybody did most of their own stunts. Fujiko's got some wire work that she did.
Mm-hmm.
Shunoguri for the role did most of his stunts and lost about, I think they said 10 pounds to get into that very Svet shape that Lupin is. Because he's wiry. So I appreciate somebody who will go to that length to get into character.
I like that his pants are so very, very high water.
Well, yeah, that's just like the art.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Really, like I said, once we get a trailer, we'll see what needs to be seen. We'll see if the humor is there. We'll see if they've edged too much towards drama, not enough towards the comedy, but they'll probably balance it out with the action.
Mm-hmm.
But that having been said, Lupin the Third, it'll be coming soon.
Yay!
Yay! Dun 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 dun. Okay. So, moving on, we gave ourselves the most time on this one because a lot of people have been very excited about this.
Oh yeah, I need to switch the...
Yeah, I was...
Make sure. There you go.
Smash!
Smersh!
Now, I'll admit up front, I am not a Smash fan. Every time I'm around people playing Smash, I lose hard. Because admittedly, unlike some people, I never had a GameCube, so I didn't have time to practice.
Or an N64?
Or an N64.
Or a Wii?
Or a Wii, no.
Alright.
I was more of a PlayStation person, that's just me.
You also were less of a gamer.
Yeah, admittedly so. But this new version makes me want to buy it. Because, as opposed to just being
you gotta specify. You want the 3DS version, or you want the Wii U version, because they're very similar and yet very different from one another. That was one of the magical things about this unveiling.
Well, because when you think about it, it's primarily seen that Smash is on your main console, but really looking at the video, this 40-minute video that was put out for the game, looking at the footage of the 3DS version makes it seem more accessible to somebody who might not want to pick it up.
And I'm very surprised that they're able to get a full fluid 60 frames per second with the main fighting characters, and assists are all at only like 30 frames per second.
Yes, it's at half the frame rate.
But that's just so that you can continue to play to your heart's content without any screen tearing or slowing down. I was
lag.
really, or the lag. I was really, really impressed with what I saw. And of course the backgrounds on the 3DS version don't look nearly as nice and well-rounded as its Wii U counterpart, but come on, it's a mobile system, and what you're really there for is the gameplay.
Right.
So, that having been said, yeah, I'm actually really excited about the 3DS version, which is not to say I'm not excited about the Wii U version. It'll probably make me end up getting a Wii U.
So this is what's going to make you do it then.
Possibly, yes.
Wow.
Possibly, because I was only ever so much a Smash person myself. Like, a large hunk of my issue always was, I always ended up being around people who were like, Fox only, no items, Final Destination. And so, Sakurai here in the Nintendo Direct all about...
Sakurai.
All these big old hand gestures that he makes throughout the whole...
While looking as bland as possible.
Oh, that's just Sakurai for you.
And now, Kaylin's going to tell you about something else about Smash.
Now I don't know what I was saying. Final Destination, right. So he was making all this commentary on Final Destination, which, some of it was very pleasing to me. I really appreciate that there is, now 2 separate modes.
For fun
or
and for glory.
For glory. So that you can just really quickly be like, hey, I want to play for fun. And I want my items. And I want to be able to play as whatever character I feel like.
And I want to customize, and I want to pick my own levels.
And then if the jerk comes along and he's like, no items, Fox, only Final Destination, then he just has to click for glory. And then he just goes straight to Final Destination. So that I can be like, nope, and get up and walk away.
I don't want to alienate anybody in the chat right now, but I'm just kind of thinking, like, For Glory was automatically dubbed douche mode for this game.
Well, because here's the thing. I always felt, for the longest time, that Smash Brothers was not a fighting game, but rather a party game.
Well,
Thus, the items, previous installments included tripping over oneself,
right.
To reduce the whole fighting game stigma. However, you still get those people who insist, no, this is a legit fighting game, I gotta bring my own Wavebird controller.
No.
I can't play with those people. I really can't.
It's
I'm
hard.
Sorry.
It's really hard. But thankfully, there's a mode for you guys now. So have at you.
Have at you. Also, there's a Final Destination version of nearly every stage in the game. So you're not just looking at a bland old nothing with no music. Now you can look at grass and buildings
and pipes and stars
and sky. And music will actually play. Of course, some people will be like, no, those things are all distractions. Give me my regular Final Destination. And then I'll be like, okay, now I'm not even going to watch you play. So
yeah. But thankfully, that's something that I will credit Nintendo for, is that they're trying to make it accessible to everybody that does play the game. Very much being aware that there are 2 classes of people that play this, for fun and for glory. It's basically what it is in a nutshell. And I don't think anybody's really going to complain too much about it. You have yours, I got mine.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Of course, you can't not mention the fact that you got new Pokemon playable characters.
A lot of Pokemon in this one.
Yeah, a lot of Pokemon. Greninja.
Greninja looks tight. I'm not even going to lie.
Whatever. I think most people are more excited about Charizard, I would imagine. I was a little weirded out by the movement update to Yoshi.
Right, because Yoshi's moveset, he kind of was more hunched over before in previous games.
Yeah, because he's a friggin' dinosaur.
Well, now that's no longer. He's going to be standing upright.
He's going to be standing upright and, like, bouncing around like friggin' Bruce Lee over here. Like,
I don't know about
standing upright
that.
like a human and bouncing around.
Bruce Lee, that's a little far-reaching for Yoshi.
I'm just saying, like, this is a little bit too bouncy for a little green dinosaur that yells, Yoshi! And...
Well, I think as far as, if you want to talk about a kicking style, they've really, and they've done this for a couple of characters, they've upped the power of certain movesets. Like, say for Zero Suit Samus or Sheik, they've really upped the kicking power for them, since now they're separate characters from their individual counterparts, Samus being in suit and then out of suit, and then, Princess Zelda and Sheik.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually prefer it that way, that I can just stay dedicated playing as Sheik and not have to worry about the suit change halfway through a fight.
And then a whole new move set in the middle of a fight and having to learn a whole new moveset.
Exactly, because admittedly I'm not as quick on the draw in fighters as some people, and so having to change movesets would throw someone like me off. So being able to keep it dedicated, I like that.
I liked hearing about their dedication to wanting to make online gameplay better, a more fun experience. I can recall when Brawl launched and the horrendous effects of trying to play online. Like, that there was just no doing it, at least not for me at the time. And of course they're saying, oh, you might want to get the wired connection, and like, let's be honest, when you're playing online gaming, you would likely prefer wired gameplay. I just wonder if they would still suffer the grievous amounts of lag that they had
I think initially
over a Wi-Fi network anyway.
Initially, once it launches, I would imagine that's going to be a major problem, like the first week or two.
However, I loved that they're addressing people who just like quit for no reason.
Yes.
Or he just listed all of these other problems that, like, if somebody else wanted to drop or screw you over by reporting you for no real reason, like, they're not going to have that. They're not going to play around with that bullcrap. No, you're not going to get into trouble because somebody else is a jackass.
No, they're going to police it now, and I appreciate that.
I also appreciate the ranking system so that it's not like, yeah, I'm number one, I'm way up here at the top, I'm going to go play my Final Destination all by myself, and then occasionally get online and destroy you. Like, I prefer that it's, oh, I'm better than this many number of people. I don't necessarily know how many number of people are better than me, but this is still a really big number. That's cool, right?
It's a way of making you feel better without making you feel bad at the same time. It's very, I actually don't like that. I think that's very coddling. That, everybody has to feel good about their ability. Hey, if that douche wants to try as hard as he can to be the best at this Nintendo fighting game that's really a party game, then let him. He can have it.
Alright, whatever you want. I mean, I'm not going to be playing for ranking anyway, because I'm just not that good at it.
Now, the interesting thing to note about this is that the 3DS version will be the first to come out this summer, with Wii U version coming out in the winter.
Woo!
So, summer convention scene, people are going to be playing this in the hallways.
Heck yeah, they are. I wonder if it'll be out in time for... We're not going to be there, but in time for Anime Expo. Like, I'm just imagining Anime Expo will be like...
Jeez.
Everyone standing in the middle of that big open area down at the bottom. And rather than seeing a bunch of cosplayers down there, you're going to see a whole bunch of Smash people. Smash just lining all these walls... You're going to see Smash people standing in line waiting for their badges for 4 hours.
If you got the time, you would want your DS out and playing this.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm looking forward to playing as Little Mac.
Yeah, Little Mac really interests me, especially because it seems like he'll be kind of a tough guy to learn how to use. Getting in close, not really good at jumping.
Sucks in the air.
He's not really good at recovering. It looked like he reaches max damage fairly quickly.
But as such, they gave him that little power meter that allows him to pull off stronger moves and punches. And as such, that I kind of like the challenge of that.
Yeah.
That he seems like the kind of character I would want to play as. Now, the other thing we would be remiss to not mention is, of course, Mega Man's new Final Smash, involving... Basically,
you say new Final Smash as if Mega Man has had a final...
Well, you know what I'm saying. This new footage.
Yeah.
That we've seen of Mega Man's Final Smash, which is him and 4 other Mega Men, firing their
Mega Mans.
Mega Man. No, sorry. Firing their cannons at you, and it's nice, but it's sad at the same time. It's like, wow, they're really acknowledging all these other Mega Men. Wow,
too bad Capcom couldn't have done that.
Yeah, like Nintendo's doing better with Mega Man than Capcom has done in the past 10 years.
It's so heartbreaking.
Like, this is the reason why we have Mighty Number 9.
Yeah.
When the best we can hope for Mega Man himself is a Final Smash, then yeah, this is why we had to put in for that Kickstarter.
That would be why indeed. Trying to think of anything else particularly pertinent. People are bringing up, like, oh, why did Zero Suit Samus need the high-heeled rocket boots? Like, when I heard Sakurai say, yeah, I really wanted to give her some boots, I was like, okay, boots, whatever. And then you look at them and it is like, they are high heels, aren't they?
Yeah.
Why? Why was that necessary? Whatever, she's probably gonna play just fine.
Yeah, once you're in battle, are you really going to be looking at her shoes? Really? That's your biggest concern, was the shoes?
I'm excited about, I think I'm going to try and be best at Wii Fit Trainer.
Yeah, you've been going on and on about Wii Fit Trainer ever since you found out that you could play as either one in there.
You remember when we saw that Wii Fit Trainer cosplayer at Anime Expo this past year?
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool.
It was pretty cool because it was one, face-covering Zentai suit, gray, and then yoga pants and a yoga shirt, and I was like, huh, I didn't know you could do that. It seemed so plainclothes, and yet it's so smart.
Yeah.
But, I just imagine, deep breathing, like you've got this really hectic battle going on all around you, and yet you're sitting here going, and you're like lifting and lowering yourself on the tips of your toes.
But doing so actually increases your defense and attack capability in certain cases, depending on the way you use it.
The villager from Animal Crossing looks like a fun character to play as.
Why can't I play as KK Slider?
You heard KK Slider music in the background?
Not good enough.
How would you even have a moveset for KK Slider?
He would use his guitar. He'd like El Kabong that mess. See him knock Mario halfway across? I'm trying to think, what would his final smash be?
I don't know. I don't even want to think about it, because, we're not going to get him.
You don't know.
As far as I saw, there's not even a KK Slider stage in either one of those games.
Well, maybe. It could happen.
All I know is that there's too much Tom Nook.
Yeah.
Because Tom Nook is a jerk. I realize he probably has to be there, but I really don't want to see Nook's face just as much as I don't want to see Rossetti's face.
Yeah.
That's just me, though. So, all that having been said, I mean, I really don't know that there's much more.
I actually liked the new weapons that they're including, like the I forget the proper name, but basically it's the fire bridge as a sword.
Yeah.
That looks tight. Like, I want to grab that and use it.
I think it was just fire bar.
It's like fire
those
bar.
Those rotating fire bars from...
You guys know what I'm talking about.
That as a weapon really entertained me. Among other weapons from other various Nintendo games, of course. But that in particular was like, you can just grab that and swing it around? Why wasn't I doing this all these years,
Yeah.
But it gone up and swung it in Bowser's face like
Take
20
that,
years
DDD.
ago. So I'm looking forward to those additional weapons too. Pokeballs apparently was a thing. Like, Master Balls was a thing, and they're like, hey, look at all these Pokemon you can throw out there.
Oh yeah, the legendary Pokemon that you can now unlock using these Mega Balls that you'll see there on the field.
Legendary Pokemon? Lucario can do his Mega Evolution.
And apparently so can Charizard.
Charizard, I guess. I don't know.
Like, that'll be a thing. No, really, you brought up an interesting point, though. Like, is this going to be a potential problem down the line for conventions?
Problem?
Like, well, really, crowding in the hallways from people playing Smash.
I don't know. Hopefully there would be a Smash... If cons are smart enough, there would be a Smash Center, like, in my perfect world, right?
Well, because, the logical thing would be, you think of it before now, the gaming room, your console room, that's where all your Smash players would be. But now, since you can go mobile, are they going to stay there? Or are they going to roam around the convention? Like, you've got people right there at registration going... Oh man, that was cheap. How come you made Luigi do that to me? But there's a lot of them. Like, in different areas, blocking arteries, things like that. could this be a problem? Because it's bad enough when, you know, you're waiting in line and you have to wait for the 4 guys in front of you to stop their game of Mario Kart so that you can get into the panel room you're trying to get into. Now you've got to worry about the Mario Kart guys, and now you got to worry about the Smash guys to get out of your way.
Yeah, but you know it's all going to be Smash and not Mario Kart by that time, because everybody's going to be so hyped about Smash.
Admittedly, yeah. Now, is this something you would midnight release get?
I might, yeah. I might do it. Everybody's going to be in on it. I want to be in on it with friends.
Yeah.
It's a friends thing. Friends do things.
Friends do things for fun.
For fun, and hopefully not as frequently for glory. Only sometimes for glory. I will occasionally play for glory. Occasionally, but
so
not...
is it to be said that if some a-hole is forcing people at conventions to play for glory, does that make him a glory hole?
Wow.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. And I think that's a good place to stop.
At the glory hole? You want to make a stop at the glory
hole?
hole?
No, I don't. I mean, no, I think we should stop the segment there.
So join us next week when Josh tells us all about his trip to the glory hole.
You just couldn't let me walk away.
Well,
I tried to back out. I tried.
Oh, you
tried
can't.
my best.
There's some things you don't back yourself out of.
And apparently this is one of them. Okay, so having said that, you guys go ahead and stick around after the show.
If you guys are here in the Twitch chat, of course. You guys on YouTube, shame on you. No, if you get the opportunity, come out next week, hang out with us next week. We would be more than happy to hang out with you after the show for an additional half hour to talk to you guys and answer questions about stuff. Just stuff. Just conversation. We're just gonna talk. It's gonna be good.
And in the meantime, I'll go ahead and post probably on Twitter tomorrow about the stream for Jew Wario for all the nice memories people can come in and share. Up until that point, you guys can go ahead and hit us up on Twitter. If you guys have any comments or potential story ideas, I'm at Josh Knight First.
And I'm at MarsGirlProd.
So until next week, this has been Beyond the Black Rims. See you guys then.
Bye.